Farewell of football is a sensitive issue for players as they hope to prolong their vigency as long as possible. However, it is not always so. There are occasions when they say goodbye very young, breaking with all the forecasts and their desires to stretch their sports careers to the maximum. One of the latent risks in professional sports is pushing the body to the limit and causing injuries. Fortunately, for most cases, these health problems are quickly overcome, largely by the great development of sports medicine. However, there are cases of injuries that wear athletes in such a way that they force them to end their career even prematurely. On this occasion, some outstanding cases of ailments that led to the withdrawal of athletes are reviewed. The most painful thing about these situations is that they fall when one least expects it. It could have happened to Christian Eriksen, who suffered a cardiorespiratory arrest during the last European Championship. The Danish midfielder underwent an operation where a defibrillator was inserted into his heart so that he can continue playing. However, and although it is still not certain that this is effective, it could be that the Danish player continues in force when he could have had to leave the competition at the age of 29. However, not everyone has the same luck, even despite trying by all means. Former Barcelona's Argentine striker Sergio Agüero announced his retirement from professional football after a cardiac evaluation, ending his career at the age of 33 after suffering an arrhythmia on the pitch on the last October 30th. The former Manchester City and Atletico de Madrid striker, who came to Barcelona as a free agent last summer, received medical assistance on the pitch after complaining of chest pain and dizziness during his team's 1-1 draw with Alaves in La Liga and had to be hospitalized. Therefore, here we review the most important cases throughout history. Just Fontaine, a vintage gunner who saw his career quickly cut short. In 1958, the French forward scored 13 goals at the World Cup in Sweden, setting the record for the most goals in a World Cup tournament. However, a recurring knee injury led him to say goodbye to the courts at 28 years of age. André Schürrle, 2014 World Cup champion, with Germany playing a secondary but important role, scoring 2 goals in the famous 7-1 victory over Brazil. He surprised everyone by retiring at just 29 years old and being a Borussia Dortmund player. He played for Leverkusen, Chelsea, Wolfsburg, Fulham, among others. He was a versatile footballer with speed and definition. He was aiming to crack, but a succession of injuries took him away from the best level, reaching the point of withdrawal. Marco van Basten, winner of 3 Ballon d'Or. In 1998, 1989 and 1992, a Golden Boot and the Euro Cup with the Netherlands and 2 European Cups with Milan, announced his retirement at the age of 28. He had time for all of that when an ankle injury cut short his career. He had to spend several years without playing until the age of 31, when he said enough and hang up his boots for good. He played for Ajax, led by Cruyff, and for Milan. Elegant, technical striker with a unique scoring nose. If he was a legend with the few years he played, everyone wonders how far he would have gone if the injuries had left him. One of the best forwards in history. Michel Platini, another winner of 3 Ballon d'Or, 1983, 1984 and 1985, a Euro Cup and a European Cup. He was at Nantes, Saint-Etienne and Juventus, where he marked a time. The former UEFA president was another case of a footballer who retired at an early age, at age 32. His motive, similar to that of Gareth Bale. He no longer felt passion for what he did. Ryan Mason, the current football manager, had to retire after a brutal clash with Cahill in a Premier League match between his team Hull City and Chelsea in 2017. The blow caused him an injury from which he could not recover. The Englishman suffered a skull fracture and internal bleeding in the brain and underwent emergency surgery. This happened when he was 25 years old, and the following year, at 26, he had to announce his retirement from football. He played 69 games in the Premier League with Hull City and Tottenham, and he debuted in a friendly with England. Eric Cantona. The French player retired at the age of 31, according to him, at the peak of his career. He will always be remembered at Old Trafford for his quality and technique on the field and for his indomitable and controversial character off the field. He captained Manchester United between the 80s and 90s, and with Ferguson he had the best football stage. And that before playing in England, he retired at the age of 25 due to harsh penalties for throwing balls at his fans and the referees in France. After 6 months he returned, but his temper flared again at United when he jumped into the stands and kicked a Crystal Palace fan after being sent off. This fact marked his career, and after 2 years he left football. Ruben de la Red, the Spaniard, retired at the age of 25 due to heart problems, all derived from a syncope that he suffered 2 years before playing a match between Real Madrid and Real Unión de Irún in the Copa del Rey in 2008. Months before, he had been proclaimed champion of the European Championship with Spain under the command of Luis Aragonés. He had a very promising future since he achieved this when he was just 23 years old. It happened at the best moment of the career, playing for Real Madrid, where it seemed that he had settled after playing at a high level on loan at Getafe. But this midfielder had to say goodbye to football very soon. Ole Gunnar Solskjær. In the memory will always remain that the final of the 1999 Champions League, where it ended up giving the victory to Manchester United against Bayern Munich. Despite this, he had several knee injuries, and in 2007 he definitively announced his retirement. He announced his retirement at the age of 34, and with 48 years old is currently a coach. Carlos Puyol. He was one of the best centre-backs in the history of Barca, but suffered 36 injuries in his entire career. But the one that definitely forced him to stop was the Achilles heel. In addition, he also had to undergo various knee operations. His career could have lasted many more years, despite the fact that his mark will be eternal. However, at the age of 36, he finally said goodbye to the courts.